I'm Bob Beckel. I'm proud to be a liberal. I believe that health care is a right, not a privilege.
Hi, I'm Cal Thomas, a conservative who is pro-life. And this is Common Ground. Welcome to Common Ground, a video version of Bob Beckel's and my weekly USA Today column in which we try to figure out how to bridge Washington's partisan divide. And Bob, there are few divides greater than this whole environmental climate change business. Now, what interests me, you and I have been around this town long enough to see members of Congress who vote on bills they haven't read, which happens all the time. This is the first time I can remember any bill being voted on that hadn't been finished.
Well, Cal, where have you been? Oz? I mean, the only bills they've ever read, I don't even think they read Mother's Day proclamations every year. This bill is over 1,200 pages long. It's the work of a number of different subcommittees being brought together. It's complicated, and of course nobody's going to read it from beginning to end. Now, this is the Republicans scream about it, and they don't read it. The point is that it is the first comprehensive piece of energy legislation that is not just about cap and trade, which is, I know, by the way, when you sent me a draft of your side of this, you called it crap and trade.
Yes, well, that was just for your attention.
I didn't get by me, believe me. But look, the point is, it's much more than that. This is about looking at old types of energy that we can do better, like nuclear power, which you and I think both agree on.
Yep.
It's dealing with coal and natural gas and other things. But the bottom line here is, you don't believe in global warming, correct?
That's correct.
Why?
Because I think it is a fiction. The tides rise and fall, the temperatures increase and decrease over the years. Many of the models being used have been rejected even by some prominent NASA scientists. My concern, though, Bob, is that government is rushing to do something that will be irreversible. And if this proves to be a failure, if taxes are in fact raised, if people do in fact lose jobs, as they've done in Spain, as they've done with a similar measure in California, this is going to be irreversible.
You know, if I didn't know how smart you were, I would say that you're a member of the Flat Earth Society, with the rest of people who don't believe that. All right,
well, if you're not going to Al Gore's cult.
Look, if you're not going to believe, the leading scientists in the world, so be it. Look, the other piece of this is that we're trying to get energy independence. You and I both agree with that, so that we don't have to keep importing over half of our oil from the Middle East.
Right.
And that's something that we need then to begin to develop alternative energy. And let me just say one thing about Europe. The Europeans have had cap and trade now for 5 years, and they are now producing carbon emissions that are 5% under what they were in 1990. It does work. And I think you're going to find that eventually people's electric bills are going to go down, but at most, we're talking about $175 per family, according to the Congressional Budget Office. And what do you want to do? I mean, you guys talk about leaving our kids with a debt. What about leaving them with a habitable planet?
Bob, look, the Congressional Budget Office made those projections before the bill was even finished. And what government projection has ever proved to be accurate? Medicare, Medicaid? When that was started over 40 years ago, we were assured by the people who supported it that it would never exceed a certain level. Well, it exceeded it in the first couple of years. Government promises aren't worth the paper they're written on, or in this case with this bill, on the paper they're not written on.
You're not suggesting the government's wrong about anything, are you? Let's see if we can wrap this up, because I'm not going to convince you about global warming, which I find amazing. We are agreeing on independence from foreign oil.
Yes.
Therefore, nuclear power, something that my side has been against for some time.
Yep.
I've always been for it. I think it's a good idea. The technology's gotten better. Let's build more nuclear power plants. You can agree with that, right?
I'm for that, yep.
All right, we found enormous finds now in natural gas, which is clean burning. Alternative ways to power cars, like electric batteries. And if you let the American people, this bill contains a lot of grant money for people to be innovative and come up with new ideas for alternative energy, wind and solar power. That's the stuff that the Middle East can't own. That's our own. So can we agree at least that we ought to explore all the alternative energy we can and get ourselves weaned off Middle East oil?
I couldn't agree more, but the answer is not the turning off the lights like Lyndon Johnson did, or changing the light bulbs as Barack Obama wants. The answer is a comprehensive and balanced approach, not just one that messes up business, industry, employment, and increased taxes. But I'm with you on the nuclear, and I'm with you on the gas, and I'm with you on a balanced approach to this.
All right, and I think we ought to turn off the lights of the Republican National Committee as if they're not. Anyway, look, check out our column in the paper and on usatoday.com, on the opinion blog at usatoday.com. Thanks for tuning in, and come back again in 2 weeks for the next installment of Common Ground.